Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Block Party. And I'm here with Jordan, and we're about to read some cool stuff. So I'm going to screen share here. And here we go. All right. But what of the, and this is from the book Superintelligence. This is from the page, as you can see here, radish.org/white-paper. Just click on white paper from the homepage of radish.org and scroll down, Superintelligence. But what of the more seemingly fanciful idea that the internet might one day wake up? Could the internet become something more than just the backbone of a loosely integrated collective superintelligence? See, one could argue that we have a loosely integrated superintelligence right now. Why? Because there's, hundreds of millions of people, 100 million people in the Zoomosphere, and they talk to each other, right? What's missing is that switchboard that we've been talking about, right? And by the way, if you imagine the words coming out of my mouth right now being transcribed, obviously they're not, but if they were, you could imagine my personalized Siri or P Siri taking this artifact, this text right here, and literally appending right here, boop, after I said collective superintelligence, it's now appending what I'm saying right now. So if this were code in GitHub, I've just done a fork and I've now appended several lines of code starting right here.
Another version.
Yeah, it's another version, right? And so it's like when someone's reading this, their P Siri could say, hey, we see you've got a lot of affinity with these dudes, Jamin Shively and Jordan Merrill. Do you want to read the original version or the appended version? No, show me the appended. And then they start reading some of the appended. They're like, show me original source. And then they're, boom, watching this video recording. They're like, wow, those guys are super cool. 2 new lines in the water, one for Jamin Shively, one for Jordan. And here's what I want to say to each of them. Hey, you guys are super cool. I love what you're talking about. Love to talk with you. Goodbye. And then boom, now instead of, 1,723 green lights on my dashboard, I have 1,724. Right? Okay. Talking to that new person. All right. So right now it's all loose. Loosely integrated means not a lot of synapses compared to what's possible, right? So something like a virtual skull housing an emerging super intellect. That's what we have. We have a pretty empty virtual skull. It's got a lot of neurons, but not a lot of synaptic connections. Okay. This was one of the ways that superintelligence could arise, according to Werner Vinge's influential 1993 essay, which coined the term technological singularity. Against this, one could object that machine intelligence is hard enough to achieve through arduous engineering, and that it is incredible to suppose that it will arise spontaneously. However, the story need not be that some future version of the internet suddenly becomes super intelligent by mere happenstance. A more plausible version of the scenario would be that the internet accumulates improvements through the work of many people over many years, work to engineer better search and information filtering algorithms, more powerful data representation formats, more capable autonomous software agents, like we've been talking about, and more efficient protocols governing the interactions between such bots, think bothub.com. And that myriad incremental improvements eventually create the basis for some more unified form of web intelligence. It seems at least conceivable that such a web-based cognitive system, supersaturated with computer power and all other resources, think indexes, etc., needed for explosive growth, save for one crucial ingredient, could, when the final missing constituent is dropped into the cauldron, blaze up with superintelligence, right? And so I like the way that he's framing it here. I'll just leave it on the screen for a minute. But I like the way he's framing it because he's basically going to the very end state and then backing it up one domino. And then say, imagine the end state and imagine the final domino clicking into place. Because if you can imagine domino n, you can imagine domino n minus 1, n minus 2. So I'm at like, I don't know, domino n minus 250 saying, hey, what if we had this very manual, clunky press conference and open houses and calendar and all that. I'll go off screen share now. And then you can imagine somebody else overlaying some bot software that they've been on some parallel journey. And then like a 1975 Reese's peanut butter cup ad, hey, my chocolate and your peanut butter, bang, right? So the cauldron is waiting to happen like the first strand of RNA out of the primordial soup, right? It's just waiting for that final, and then it's just going to explode. It's just going to be this explosion in the laboratory where we all get blown against the wall and we're like, what happened? We're all looking at each other. Well, I don't know. And I think it's going to happen so fast. No one person is going to know what the hell happened. It's just going to freaking happen. Right. And but meanwhile, here we are at domino n minus 250. Manually chiseling the damn thing away, busting knuckles and just keeping at it until we finally get that domino, and then we're one step closer. But it feels like with the Zoomosphere, I mean, let's face it, this thing is freaking awesome, right? You're in Hungary, I'm on an island on the edge of the Pacific, and it's like we're right in front of each other. Right. And it can all be transcribed. It's not being transcribed at the moment, but it could be. We're recording it, and with Otter AI and other software, boom, you've suddenly got it transcribed and published and indexed and da 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 da. So it's like we've got so many ingredients already in the cauldron. Right.
Yeah.
But we're not there yet. What's missing? Well, the press conference.
In steps. Radish.
Yeah. But you see,
sounds like a nice little pitch.
But the cool thing is, see, the MVP is already working. It's a very slow switchboard because you were searching around collective intelligence, and now we're talking. You're talking now to the author of Radish, the main author.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty amazing. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because that literally is the switchboard, because you got to the collective intelligence and you clicked on a link, and now you're talking to the dude.
That's right. Now I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Now in this case,
watching you in videos, and now it's live.
Yeah, and in this case, I'm willing to sit here and go, duh, staring at my Zoom screen for whoever shows up. It's like open office hours, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it took before P-Siri and the whole switchboard and the cauldron, right? With the cauldron, oh man, I could be playing tennis, whatever. I could be, reading my favorite book, whatever I want to be doing. And whenever the right line in the water pulls, I get to it when I get to it, right?
Yeah, that's what you're working towards right now, yeah.
Hey, see, Elon's in a very privileged position because whenever he wants to talk to somebody, he can just talk to them. Right. He pulls on a line and people come. Right. And so it sort of becomes like a meritocracy, because the more that you establish a reputation as somebody who solves problems, the more people are going to put lines in the water to talk with you. And then you get to say, hey, P-Siri, what's on my menu? What are my options? Oh, my goodness, there's thousands of people who want to talk with you. All right, show me the ones who want to talk about food, because those are the ones I want to talk to first. Next priority is the ones who want to talk about solar radiation management. Way down the list will be political transformation, because that's not really my thing. I think it's a bunch of bullshit, but I'm happy to engage in those conversations with the right people, with the right telos.
Yeah.
Right. So
yeah, so it kind of sounds like Upwork, where Upwork is like this also idea that like a meritocracy, where are you familiar with Upwork, like these freelancer sites? The more merit you get, the more people kind of throw their fish hooks, or the more you can kind of start out something and people just rush to you.
Interesting.
But it's kind of like, but you're also then kind of combining that with Superintelligence, where it's like super scaled, and it's like video and live video and like instant connection. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. You see, Upwork has contributed some elements to the cauldron that I don't even know about. And I'm sure meetup.com has contributed others. Google has contributed myriad others. And it's just like we've got this box of some beautiful Lego Death Star, but all the pieces are there, but it hasn't been assembled yet, and we only have partial instructions, right?
Yeah, like the human body or something, like, or the mind, for example, we need constituents, but then there needs to be something that clicks in order to connect it and create consciousness, perhaps you could say. So many parts, but consciousness doesn't exist. There has to be something that kind of connects everything in order for consciousness to arise, or yeah, like a spirit of life or something, like a breath of life needs to come in and then give
That's it.
being to all the constituent parts. Yeah.
Or like, Nick Bostrom says, the final missing ingredient in the cauldron that makes it just explode.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I understand that. That's pretty pretty miraculous, actually. Yeah. I also think, yeah, it's almost like this democratization of influence as well, where it's not just someone who like Elon Musk who can do this, but like almost anybody who maybe is not well known, but maybe still has a lot of potential and merit, like you're saying.
Totally.
And
Totally.
it's like almost everybody kind of, it just becomes like this democratized work. And it's like, it's just connected so well where it's like it empowers people, it empowers more instant solutions and
right. And,
yeah,
and you
it's a
see,
connection.
yeah, and see, people's contributions can be of many different kinds. Like, one of my gifts is I'm good at like just helping meetings get going and stay on track and helping people feel good and honored and all that. And, I may not be contributing materially to the technicals of the meeting, the actual, nuts and bolts, but I just may be creating a nice clean workshop with a smooth concrete floor and nice work shelves and lighting and electrical sockets and Ethernet, connections so that people can then come in there and do good work. Right.
Yeah. So everybody has their own part. Yeah. Focusing on the gifts of people. And no, that's great.
Yeah. And then on the shadow side of that, the negative side of that, if there's someone who's just like really good at disrupting meetings, right? The P series can be really good at like either ejecting the homeboy from a meeting or, saying, hey, Jamin, hey, Jordan, I'm going to take everybody out of this meeting except for the dude who, would really get bent out of shape if he got kicked out. And we all suddenly leave, and then all of us minus the asshole, reconvene in some other room, and the asshole doesn't even know it. Right. So there's, it's like, oh man, oh shoot, oh gotta go later.
Yeah. No, that's quite, I haven't really heard of such ideas before meeting you. So
well, this is the kind of thing I think about like all the time, and I've thought about it all the time for years. And I'm very persistent. I don't give up, and I'll never give up. And
that's
so
good.
This is going to happen, and maybe I'll be a part of it when it does, and maybe not. And I don't really care so much. It needs to happen. Yeah. So until it happens, I'm here, doing my part to make it happen.
Talking with some random guy in Hungary.
What's that?
Talking with some random guy in Hungary. Yeah.
Not some part random guy. These are increasingly less random.
I guess so.
As time goes on. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. Makes sense. Thank you for that white paper exposition. And yeah, definitely a nourishing time so far. Definitely the quality and how dense the time has been in terms of value is astounding. Yeah, it's like eating a rich mousse cake or something.
Well, it's rich for me too. It's a really good, switchboard connection. The switchboard operator is getting better at doing what they're doing.
But who's behind it? That's the thing.
Who knows?
Good answer. Yeah, that's right. Who knows? Wow. Yeah. Certainly interesting. I mean, it reminds me, I actually saw a certain piece in the news the other day where something similar happened, and these guys were, as you said, in the Zoomosphere, and it was actually the longest. They actually broke the record for the longest Zoom meeting. It was all these like Jewish rabbis, and they were on the Zoomosphere for like I don't even know how long, weeks or something. And it's like this is what they were doing. They just kept on connecting. It's like switchboard thing, kept on connecting, and it's kept on going on forever. And I mean, maybe it probably ended by now. I mean, but yeah, it was like this thing that just kept on going on, and it's this continual conversation that Yeah.
That's a really good sign, actually. That's a really good sign, that happened. And and it's not a complete surprise that it would be Jewish rabbis, because they're really good. They're really good connectors.
Yeah.
And they're really good connectors. That's kind of their job. Actually, that's a big part of their job.
Yeah. No, yeah. I'm definitely. I'm pretty. I could say familiar with the Jewish community, and I actually have a lot of friends who live in Israel and talk with
Yeah.
them in Hebrew and stuff. And yeah, no, so definitely. Yeah, I see what you're saying. It's part of their
Yeah.
DNA.
Yeah,
What they do. Yeah.
No, that's one of the hot spots of connectivity, right? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
that's one of the places most likely for the cauldron to go ablaze first, is in that community.
Well, I mean, Israel. Yeah, Israel is technologically advanced, definitely. I mean,
Yeah,
and
and
the
they're
way
and they're
the way
very.
they do things. Yeah.
It's a very conversational culture, and humor is a big part of it. And humor
Yeah.
really helps. That's when, I mean, you laugh when pieces fall into place, right? It makes us laugh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
It's a signal that stuff is working, right? And so a good piece of humor is just like an acknowledgement of all these pieces fitting together, and then once you have a good
Yeah.
laugh about it, you don't forget it. It's like now it's now part of one of your connections. And yeah, so we're getting there. We're getting there.
Comedy. Yeah. That's how comedy works. That's right. Yeah. Connections and I say unexpected connections, right? Like,
That's it.
yeah, that's exactly what happens, and that's kind of like what life is anyway. Yeah, unexpected connections,
Hmm.
all kinds of stuff going on. Nice analogy.
Hmm.
So anyway, though, thank you uh, for everything. I probably will be getting going pretty soon here, but
What is it, midnight there?
yeah, actually, it is. Yeah. I went into the immersion style. I think what I've been on for like what is it? Probably 8 hours now. Is this 8 hours?
Almost 8 hours. Yeah.
Oh, it's 8 hours for me. Yeah. I think I joined about an hour late, but
No, say 7 hours for you. 8 hours.
7 hours for me.
7 for you.
That's
Yeah.
that's quite amazing. Yeah, it's crazy how long conversations can go on. Why is this an atmosphere?
Actually, no, probably 7.5 hours for you. I think we.
Yeah, 7.5 maybe. Yeah, that's right.
right.
But yeah, I definitely have taken to heart what you've said, and thank you for also the help with the coaching as well and the thinking through things. And I think, yeah, I think when you start developing more of the press conference thing, I maybe will try to take more of a part of that and check that out and try to bring potential more into actuality.
Yeah, and you can
And
just try it out. Like you give a 3-minute presentation and say, yeah, next week we're going to be meeting from this time to this time. Bring your friends, and let's have a great conversation. And just try it, see if it works for you. And,
yeah, sure.
Because that's part of the switchboard. You put out the signal, you send out the pulse, and then in absence of people having P-Series bots that can automatically direct them there, they scan and they check out snack bar. Oh, this looks interesting. The title, something in the title grabs them, right? And then they invest 2 minutes, not a big investment, to watch your 2-minute presentation. Say, Jordan, that's one smart dude. I'm definitely going to that. Add to calendar, click, right?
No, yeah, definitely. Yeah, like I definitely believe in the power, like we've been talking about as well, of community, right? There's just, you can't do things alone, right? You have to have a community if you want to really accomplish
Oh my goodness.
a lot.
It's
vital.
It's the difference between a single cellular world where we're just a bunch of single cells and multicellular.
Yeah, yeah,
That's the
yeah.
it's the that's the difference right there.
And that's a good that's a good analogy or metaphor for that. I think it's
Yeah.
because it really does work like that in many ways. Yeah, I mean that's how businesses work too. You know, there's
Yeah.
kind of a spirit or idea that then finds embodiment in the people and the organization around it, and maybe started with one person or so, but this person lives on through the company itself and the system and the employees, and that's basically literally how society works. Like I don't have to build my own house or make my own clothes if I don't want to. I don't have to, because somebody else does that. So it's almost like we have our own parts, but we're all connected and we're all working together. Because
That's
if
right.
we weren't connected, it'd be like I'd have to build my house. I'd have to, you know, throw out the we were talking about sewage, somewhere out my window, and then I have to, definitely grow and tend my own food and all kinds of stuff.
Right, but consider this. Consider this. The system, our switchboard system, in what you're talking about, which is the global economy as it exists right now, it's a very, very lowest common denominator kind of switching system that basically says, you got money? Okay, then I'll give you
Yeah, sure.
my time or my product, right? And if you don't, no, I don't care. You may have the coolest idea in the world, piss off because you ain't got money for me, right?
So it's
And
more like
so
a free, like open network kind of
yeah,
thing where it's not just for money, but it's for like a like the open concept, like the
yeah.
free open concept. Yeah.
And where the currency now is the most valuable, the most precious commodity on earth, which is people's attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a meritocracy. It's not how
Yeah.
much gold can I throw at you, but have I earned your attention, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, and that is how things work. No, and that's brilliant. I think it's kind of like I'm often inspired by the open source world, right? It's kind of this idea where it's like, people, what matters is merit, and what matters is your ability and know-how, not necessarily like a certain type of status, or not necessarily like money even. It's more of like this kind of what you're talking about, this meritocracy.
Yeah.
And there's some great stuff that's all open source, that people have created from just like open source software, open source projects, all these things. Yeah, it's kind of like what you're doing would just streamline that process even more.
That's it.
Yeah, and so I'm 100%. I love the open source community. So yeah, definitely great.
Yeah, no, and we're going to get deeply embedded in that because they'll probably help build out the final pieces of the switchboard system, P-Series and all that, and Bot Hub, right, among others.
Yeah, Bot Hub. That's also great. Quite inspiring. I like the big picture thinking. Yeah, it's definitely stretching beyond what's usually presented, and visionary. That's good. Visionary thinking. All right. Well, my friend, yeah, Jamin. I look forward to, yeah. Hopefully, I think I will try to come next weekend, next Friday.
Awesome. Love to have you. I'm going to pause recording.